Since I was a kid, I always loved drawings, portrait and more, but I never put any bad intentions or creepy meaning on it. But some kids did. Let's find out the dark meaning about these interesting kids drawing.
I love your content. Your video make me smiles.
The first one actually give me thrills cause of the backstory. Every night while the kid was in the bed, he would always see a creature watching him. He saw the creature so many times that he drew it to show his parent. But before I showing to you the drawings, make sure to like and subscribe, and stick until the end to see the most terrifying drawings.
Disturbing kids drawings with terrifying backstories. A mother with 2 children, a 6-year-old boy and an 8-year-old girl, sent in this picture about what her son was seeing at night. Every night from the hours 12 to 5 a.m., the son would come in the parents' room crying because he said that he saw somebody standing in front of his bed. The boy claimed that it would come out of the closet and just stand in front of his bed and watch him for hours. The first few times this happened, the parent would come in the room and check, make sure everything's okay, just to make him feel better. But this went on too long, and eventually the parent said, "You can just come sleep with us." In the middle of the night, the mom begins to hear a door opening in the hallway. She looks beside her and sees that her son is laying right next to her, so she knows it's not him. She gets up and begins walking down the hallway to the boy's room when she begins to hear whispering coming from inside. She slowly creaks the door open and sees her son talking to the closet. She stands there shocked because she just saw him in the same bed with her 5 seconds ago. The mom looks at the boy and says, "Who are you talking to?" The boy turns and smiles and says, "Mommy, he said it was his turn to sleep with you." Make sure to like and
Holy moly, I didn't expect that. The fact that he doesn't see a creature, but instead he was complaining about his clone who always watch him at night. And maybe his clone made a deal to sleep with his parent too, which mean terrifying. But for my opinion, this backstory sound a little bit fake. Like a clone of yourself? I mean, if it was your twin, okay, but a clone of yourself. We are not in 2100, I think. The next drawing is more terrifying, but in my opinion I think it a little bit cute. Maybe it's because I draw this type of stuff.
This ordinary looking drawing made by a 6-year-old doesn't appear to have anything that would be any kind of cause for alarm. On the surface, it just looks like a young kid playing in the front of their house. There's tons of smaller details in the drawing, such as his dad raking the leaves, his mom at the window, and a few cars in the street passing by. It all seems like an innocent drawing, but there's a bit of an unsettling backstory behind this. The 6-year-old boy who drew this is a very well-behaved and quiet kid according to his parents. I'll refer to him as Jake. He stays to himself most of the time, and his teachers describe him as a well-behaved child, just very, very quiet. He has a passion for drawing, and constantly draws pictures and writes little story picture books. Jake has one sibling who's currently 2 years old, who he has included in multiple pictures too. His mother says most of Jake's free time he spends either watching Cartoon Network or YouTube videos or drawing. There was no cause for alarm when his parents found this first picture. However, there was when they found a more recent picture that Jake had drawn. Here's another picture of Jake in front of the house, but maybe you've already spotted it. In this picture, there's an identical car in the street with the same person sitting inside. This time, it seems Jake is looking at the car in this picture waving. Jake's parents are not seen in this one, interestingly, but his parents were intrigued now about the car and who the person inside of it was supposed to be.
I have a bad feeling about the man in the car. Like he may be gonna do something to the kid, or trying to be friends with him and kidnapping him. Anyway, let's continue.
So they questioned him. Jake explained that it was a car he'd always see out front and that the man sitting inside of it would always smile and wave whenever he saw him. So the next day, Jake's parents took him outside to point out the car, but he said the car wasn't there. In fact, it wasn't for the next few days, until finally, one day while Jake was playing outside, he came running inside to his parents to say he saw the car again and the man was inside again. Jake's parents rushed outside to the front to look and saw the car speeding away past the house down the block. It was an old silver Buick, and Jake confirmed that was the car. It was none of the neighbors' cars, that much was known. Jake's parents went to all the neighbors and asked if they'd seen that car sitting in the street at all, to which all of them replied they had not, but that they'd keep a lookout.
Nah. That man only drive when the kids is alone by himself, but I don't understand what the man trying to do.
A few days, Jake wasn't allowed to play outside unless his parents were there with him. But after the car didn't seem to return, Jake was once again allowed to play freely out front. But one day, he came inside and said that the man in the car was back and was trying to get him into his car. Of course, Jake's father ran outside as fast as he could, hoping to get to the car in time, but he saw it already down the block by the time he was outside. He tried chasing the car down in his car, but by the time he even got into his car, there was no way of tracking where the car went. Once again, Jake wasn't allowed outside of the house. The car wasn't seen outside at all for almost that entire week, until one night, unexpectedly, Jake's father was about to take the garbage out, when he noticed the car parked across the street. He took out his phone to begin recording and hopefully get the license plate number, and he tried to slowly get closer to the car. Clearly saw him, because the car turned on, then quickly drove away.
Ayo, I I start shaking of fear. This man is so weird. He always waiting for the kids all day and nights. He need to go to the prison or get a wife instead of stalking people. Especially, watching a kids, which mean is illegal. I didn't expect it gonna be a real clip of this incident.
His father tried to follow the car and get the plate number, but he couldn't. This was the last time the car was ever seen. The car had clearly been parked outside multiple times watching the house, even past dark at later hours in the night. The driver of the car, according to Jake, would always smile and wave at him anytime they'd make eye contact with each other. And the last time Jake saw the car, the man inside started waving for him to come over, and even called out for him. Luckily, Jake was smart enough to go inside and tell his parents. It's not clear why the car would be outside even at night, considering the boy leaving the house alone at those hours would be extremely unlikely. Jake's parents brought the video to the police, but without a clear plate number, not much could be done. Jake's father went door to door asking each house on the block if they had cameras that caught the plate number, but he didn't have any good luck. The car never returned after this. But this happened relatively recently in November of 2021, so there's always a possibility that the man may return.
Well, I think this man will not come back because he was too scared of the father. The father was catching into the man's strange behavior toward his son, and was mostly going to harm the strange man. It's been 3 years since this incident was taken, so I think the man leave them alone. This dad was super brave, because it's dangerous to go up to an unknown guy that has been stalking his family, especially at night. The next drawing is another imaginary friends. Imagine their friends so oddly help.
Drawings are done by a girl who has an imaginary friend named Lisa, and you won't believe what they reveal. This first one shows her and Lisa, who's unusually tall, dressed in all white, covered in red, and has red eyes. It says, "Today I tried to plant a flower in the yard. I tried to plant it by the sandbox, but Lisa said that's where her daddy is sleeping, so I planted it in a cup of dirt." The next one shows the girl going to school with Lisa, and her teacher, Mrs. Monroe, is getting angry because she can't see Lisa. Then Mrs. Monroe disappears. After school, the girl and Lisa end up going on a long walk, but when they come home, the drawing says, "Daddy got really mad and said Lisa is stupid and fake. Lisa got sad and disappeared." And this is where it all goes wrong. The girl's dad seems to have also disappeared, and we finally find out what's been going on in the last drawing. It says, "Lisa came back yesterday. She said sorry for leaving and I told her my dad won't come home." Lisa said Mrs. Monroe and him are sleeping like her dad. I hope they wake up.
So that mean that anybody who talk with Lisa will disappear the next day. And they're apparently sleeping? I don't really believe about the fact that she ended her father and teacher. The last drawing is also about an imaginary friends, but it's more about imagine a human-like figure. A kids who asked to draw their imaginary friends, and this what they draw.
Drawings with disturbing backstories. This first one is called the Two-Headed Monster by an anonymous kid when asked to draw their imaginary friend. And just picture what this imaginary friend would actually look like, because its first head seems to have bulging eyes and an unnaturally large smile. Then there's a second head growing out of its foot with huge teeth and round ears. It also has 3 arms on its body and another 2 arms growing out of the foot.
That crazy how the kid's drawing his imaginary friends in person. That's super creepy. Kids don't know about what they draw.
But this next one might be even more terrifying. Sarah gave this drawing to her older sister who was leaving for the summer. And in this drawing, she draws herself crying over a gravestone holding a shovel. And the words on top of the page says, "Dear Sarah, I now have much. You love me, but I love you even more. You are dead."
I don't think this kid's mean it in this way. It just because she was so sad her sister was leaving, and felt like her sister was D3 because her sister being gone for summer.
This last drawing though is what really got me. A mother says this drawing was done by her daughter who's 4, and her daughter says this is the monster that always follows her around, but her mother can never see it. So in the drawing we see herself drawn at the bottom of the page, and a giant monster that seems like a distorted floating head, with beady eyes and black teeth. Follow for more.
I feel very bad for this 4-year-old kids. She feel like the monster follow her all the time. But I don't really think she is scared at all. I don't really believe that story was really real, but maybe it's truth, who knows. And I also can't believe that you made it this far and haven't liked and subscribed yet. Tell me what should I do next, hee hee. Bye bye my wonders.